Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the Funhouse Podcast. I am joined by Elise.
Let's point out my name is Elise.
Your name is Elise.
You are John.
I am John, and this is Ryan. And today's episode is a very special investigative journalism interview expose on something that is called the Ryan Rave. Now, your name is Ryan.
Yeah, it's a new show we're piloting, 69 minutes.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
60 minutes, but with
Yeah,
a vulgar
a little
skew.
bit more. It runs late. Now, look, I just want to get right into it because we have so many questions. We're already talking about how Elise and I were going to run out of time before we run out of questions.
And this happened weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
And then John had this, we're like, what are we going to do the podcast on? John goes, we need to do a full-on investigation on the Ryan rave that you went to weeks ago.
Yeah.
I go, okay, let's do it.
Because you guys talked about it a little bit. I haven't actually talked with you about it.
That is what, well, John called me as I was leaving the Ryan rave, and we talked for like an hour. He asked me all these questions.
Well, you weren't supposed to reveal that.
Oh, sorry about that.
But I'm fresh. I'm fresh ears here. So's the audience.
All right. Ryan.
Yeah, John?
What is the Ryan rave?
Well, okay. So apparently a bunch of people named Ryan had started making these Ryan meetups, I believe in New York. And I want to say in the last year or so, or the last 6 months, maybe. I don't know. And then people were sending me flyers for this thing, the Ryan meetup. There's like a little QR code and everything. And so I was like, oh, that's funny, you know, but I kind of regret not going to that Ryan meetup, you know, in hindsight. But because then a million people sent me the video of them at the Ryan meetup. And, you know, it's like 30, 40 Ryans hanging out at a bar, just chilling. They made a funny little video about it. We're all saying fuck Brian and talking about how cool the culture of being a Ryan is. And then that spawned, you know, the popularity of that video, that viral video, I'm pretty sure led them to go, all right, we got to up the ante. What's bigger than a Ryan meetup? A Ryan rave. So then they were like, we're gonna hold it in LA. And that's when, you know, everyone started sending me the flyer for the Ryan rave, the save the date for the Ryan rave. And then I'm like, well, okay, I missed the Ryan meetup. I have to go to the Ryan rave.
Yeah.
I would be a fool to not go to the Ryan rave and hang out with my fellow Ryans. And so then I put on my calendar, and that's what I did by myself because I don't know anyone else named Ryan out here.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know another Ryan?
I know.
I rest my case.
Yes, I do.
Oh, well, okay.
Right. Well,
why didn't you tell me? I could have had another friend there.
I already have so many questions.
What I want to do first is I want to set up kind of the general picture first.
Okay.
So that actually answers my second question, which was, is this something that you put on your basement? So no.
I had nothing to do with the creation of this event.
I just want to say, you just getting like invitations for people to show up to this weird place, I would get murdered if I did that.
And specifically in this, they held it in the weirdest, sketchiest part of LA. It was like in the middle of nowhere.
Well, that was my next question, which was, where did this take place, and kind of give us the setting of the Ryan rave.
And Lindsay and Charlotte and I were talking about how like the things that you do off the seat of your pants that you do. Just, I'm living. We would get murdered.
You would get murdered.
If we
Power
did.
numbers. If you get all the Ryans there, we can't all get murdered. But yeah, no, when I showed up there, I'm like, is this the right fucking place? Because it's like in a just, you know, dirty alleyway that I was like, I was like, there's no one else here. And then all of a sudden I started seeing a few other people, and I literally just yelled at them. I'm like, Ryan? And they go, Ryan! I go, yes! Okay, they're here. And they're like, and then, because they were also looked confused.
Yeah.
But then we all finally started seeing like little shitty arrows. It's so funny how janky the whole thing was set up, like in terms of where it was and everything. Yeah, there's just like an arrow that says Ryan at some point. Like, I guess that's where we followed that little arrow on a piece of paper. And finally we got to, you know, the alleyway we were supposed to be in. And yeah, there was
and
a
then
party.
someone lit the match.
Yeah, well, no, there was clearly there was a very small line. I got there very early, okay, for one thing, which I'm so glad I did. And you know, I was worried. I was like, oh man, am I going to be like one of 10 people at this thing if I'm getting there at like 7:30? It was starting at 7. I got there at 7:30, and then it was supposed to go till 4 on the thing, right? Which I think was wrong. I think it was actually going till 2, which makes more sense, but. I got there, and yeah, they're checking everyone's IDs to make sure your name was Ryan. Okay, you had to Yes, Elise?
Sorry, could you have a deviated spell? Like, could it be Ryan, R-I-A-N, like Ryan Johnson?
So they go into that. We might actually want to pull up the frequently asked questions on the Ryan Meetup page, because they go into like, okay, what if my name is this? And basically, if your name, they will take different kinds of spellings of Ryan.
So middle name, surname.
No, not. They go into. What if your last name is Ryan? And they're like, well, no, your first name has to be Ryan too.
Cool. Okay.
No last names is Ryan, no middle names. But if you have a middle name that is Ryan and you go by Ryan, you have to bring in at least 3 references that prove that you go by Ryan in your everyday life.
Now, speaking of references, when I heard about the Ryan Rave, which by the way, I hadn't heard anything about it. And then on Saturday, I texted you like, what are you doing? And you said, I'm at the Ryan Rave. And for some reason, I immediately knew knew that you were in a place with hundreds of other Ryans. I don't know why.
But to so boldly just say I'm at the Ryan Rave and expect someone to know what that means.
I also had the same conversation with Alana, because Alana's birthday was that night, and she messages me and is like, hey, just so you know, come to my birthday. I'm like, I'm actually at the Ryan Rave, and then she's like, oh, ha, have whatever. And then I'm like, and then I started saying like, yeah, man, there's so many people named Ryan here. She's like, are you serious? Like, this is you were not joking?
And you said, I would rather go to this. You said, I'm going to go meet up with these sweaty dudes.
She asked me, she told me the day of, I got to go hang out with the sweaty Ryans,
Oh God, I have so many questions. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm going to ask a question that's going to derail, but we need to get to the bottom of this.
Is this an exclusive event solely for Ryans? Was everyone there a Ryan?
So the fine print, I believe, said that up till 9:30, from 7 to about 9:30, only Ryans, no exceptions. And if your name's Brian, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. Especially, but at about 9:30, then they did open it up to other people, not named Ryan, but they had to pay a big cover charge.
Yeah, it's $50.
We got in free. It was like $20 for anyone not named Ryan. And I would say over the course of the night, luckily those people for the most part stayed away, and it was 99% Ryan.
Was it an 18 up, 21 plus event?
Well, up till 9:30, it was all ages. So all of a sudden, randomly, there's probably about 5 children that you could tell were named Ryan that their parents brought them to, like, oh, hey, it's your party.
So there were little Ryans.
And
that was one of my questions.
Terrified. I mean, it's just, it was from the beginning a pretty rowdy party, like in the sense that, and by rowdy, I just mean every 5 seconds, whoever comes in at any moment, which people were trickling in all night, everyone just goes, Ryan! Ryan! It's all you heard was people screaming Ryan. So it's like you have, or at some point chanting Ryan, Ryan, Ryan. Everyone's just chanting, our name. And then, our
name. A
kid would come in with their parents, and they're like, "Oh my God," and then like.
So, but the parents were allowed to accompany them.
Up till 9:30, yeah, and then at 9:30, those kids had to get the hell out.
So it wasn't a child was let in, and their parents like waved goodbye.
Had fun.
And so it was like in a warehouse somebody rented, right?
I'd barely even call it a warehouse. It was like it was like a big garage that somebody rented.
Okay. Which there's a lot of in downtown LA, especially.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. It was the perfect size for it. I mean, there was a ton of people. There was like, I think they said like over almost 600 Ryans showed up. And it felt like it was packed.
So, I mean, I think typically your brain goes to like Ryan. Ryan is a like male presenting person. Were there any like women there?
There was. I'm gonna say the ratio was probably 70-1, male to female Ryans. They were there, and and it was very obvious that it's like, oh, there's one of the female Ryans. They're like celebrities. They're like celebrities. Like, oh my, it was like a rare Pokemon or something. Yeah. Oh my God,
we call those shinies. I do need to circle back real quick just to make a clippable moment. Ryan.
Yes, John.
How many Ryans were at the Ryan Rave?
Probably about 600 Ryans. I'm pretty sure that I think was the official count.
That's a lot of Ryans.
What do you call a group of Ryans? Like a murder of crows or a gaggle of geese? Is there a name for them?
They talked about this actually. I think.
I bet they did. I bet they absolutely fucking did.
I think it was called a Gosling of Ryans.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah, named after
that. Actually, I think leads into one of the questions I had. Any famous Ryans?
So, okay, that actually was kind of funny. Well, they had a photo booth. You could take pictures with like a fake Ryan Reynolds mask, a Ryan Gosling mask.
Mhm.
Ryan Seacrest was left out of the equation for some reason. But it's so funny because most of the time you're going through the crowd, you're just literally like I'm going through the crowd. I'm like, oh, pardon me, Ryan. Excuse me, Ryan.
Okay, so it's just the novelty
Sorry,
of
Ryan.
calling each other Ryan.
Oh, you know their names. You know everyone's name there. That's the best thing. So you're hanging out, talking to all these Ryans, introducing, you have something in common with everybody. I'm like in line for drinks. I'm like, so Ryan, what do you do? What kind of Ryan are you? And it's like a Rick and Morty episode.
Yeah,
where
it sounds like that.
But then all of a sudden there's this one Ryan.
Lemmings.
I'm sitting there like I pass this Ryan. I'm like, hey Ryan. He's like, hey Ryan. And I'm like, wait a minute, I know you. And I'm like sitting there like trying to figure out how I know this Ryan for a couple minutes, and I'm like, did you work in were you a PA at some point? And we're trying to go through it. And he tells me finally he's like a stand-up YouTuber guy. And then finally it dawns on me that I'm just a fan of this Ryan. I know this guy. Like I know his videos. He was on Funny or Die. His name's Ryan O'Flanagan. He did like this weird, overly excited tourist character. And I'm like, oh man, I used to watch all your videos. So that was the one celebrity Ryan I knew was.
Okay.
But it was so funny how he probably knew that, like when I'm like, I know you from somewhere.
He wanted to be modest. He didn't
Right,
want
of
to be
course.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
he
you
was.
must watch my video.
Or he wanted you to remember.
Maybe, I don't know.
Did anyone recognize you?
So yeah, I had probably 5 people come up and go, Funhouse Ryan.
Hold on, 5 Ryans.
5 Ryans.
You had
yes.
a half Gosling?
I had a half Gosling of Ryan's come up to me and notice me. But the first one was this kid who came with his dad. A kid named Ryan came with his dad. He's like, Ryan, oh man, I'm a big fan of Funhouse. And
the dad or the kid?
The kid, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I promised him an internship. Ryan, I'm sorry. I'm forwarding it to Jacob and Rick.
Jacob does not deal with it's Lindsay.
Lindsay and Rick. But anyway, I told him no promises, but we'll see what we can do. So anyway, that I got that going for that kid.
I wager you were the most famous person there. I think so. I think that's safe to say.
I don't know about that.
That's the
Z-list.
Yeah. Who knows?
I would wager in this setting amongst the Ryans, you were the most famous.
It was funny because I was talking to this one guy named Ryan, and we were hanging out.
Shit.
Yeah. We were hanging out talking, and then all of a sudden this other Ryan comes up, and the way he said it, he didn't say like Funhouse Ryan. He just goes, Ryan Haley, you're a legend. And then like I'm sitting there like the way that he said it though, it just sounded like he was going up to all Ryans going, Ryan, you're a legend, bro. So the other guy just was like, didn't bat an eye. It was funny.
That's great.
Now, this is a rave.
Yeah.
So at the Ryan rave,
How much excess do we take?
well, sure. Yeah.
We call them rice to see.
Ryan, at the Ryan rave, were the DJs named Ryan?
Every single fucking one of them.
Oh
and they found Ryan DJs from around the country to come and DJ.
They had to fry them in?
Yes, they fried them in.
Oh my God.
and that was some of the funniest parts was the DJs, which they were great. And I loved some of the things. They'd have like a big dance circle thing,
Mm-hmm.
and one Ryan would jump in and do something, and I was like, Ryan. We're all chanting Ryan while each of the Ryans is getting in and dancing in the middle. It was so fun. And then they were crowd surfing the Ryans. It was great.
It sounds like it was really good vibes and a really good time, but I think not everything can be perfect always. So my question to you is, any fights break out? Any bad actors? Any Ryans that you were like, this person is not upholding the Ryan?
Any mean Ryans?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. This was like the most wholesome, nicest group of Ryans you'd ever seen. Everyone was it was good vibes all around. The only thing, and this was like more of a joke, but there was one Brian there. And by that, and it really wasn't even a Brian. They just had they had the garbage can full of everyone's trash that they had a name tag that said Brian. That was the word. And so, no, the answer to your question is no mean Ryans. There was maybe a few like Ryans that were like going a little too hard in the paint. You know, they were so excited. Like one guy crowd surfed 100 times.
Okay? they are not getting out much. Like the Ryan Rave is their
Well, this guy that I'm talking about, I actually had a whole long conversation with him. He was a really cool guy. We were both smoking in the alleyway, and he was like, "Dude, I went to the Weezer concert last night in Vegas. That's where I'm from." And then afterwards, I was just on Instagram and I saw that this was happening today. So I immediately just drove to the airport and I flew here to LA. And I haven't slept since the Weezer concert last night, and this is like the best. But craziest weekend ever, and that Ryan was like definitely the Ryan going the hardest. The whole
Was that
time.
a young Ryan? Probably.
I couldn't tell. He was definitely either my age, a little older, or maybe he just looked older from
the hard living. Did you
Ryan.
Did you have this moment of clarity of like this Ryan needs to get his life together?
This Ryan seemed like he was having the time of his life. No, I think us Ryans, we know.
No introspection. It's funny because like you saying this is super wholesome. It's something that I was sort of thinking about this Ryan Rave. Loneliness rates are up. There are all these studies saying people are lonelier than they've ever been, especially in America. People feel very isolated. They isolate themselves. And no shade aside, like this is completely genuine. I really love that something like this exists, that it feels like somebody who would maybe not be like, I'm going to go out and party, or I'm going to feel comfortable in going to a bar and trying to meet people. But like everybody is going to this knowing the terms and knowing that we're all coming here to have a really good time in a fun and kind of silly way.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I really like it. I think it's really cool.
I totally agree with a good point on the loneliness thing. Because if you are someone who, has a tendency to be shy or whatever, like this was
named Ryan.
Yeah.
This is the perfect.
You don't have to
event
introduce yourself.
Yeah, we all have name tags, And
Why?
What?
Wait, what?
Yeah,
What?
Seriously.
It feels like frivolous waste of money.
The first video.
Everyone at the Ryan Rave wore a name tag that said Ryan.
Yes,
Why?
absolutely.
That seems redundant.
No, it is not. You all had a name tag and we're all just hanging out. And like you had at least one thing to spark up a conversation with at the very beginning, and that's really all you need. That's like, it's weird that so many people are so lonely, but really, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, most people just need that one little push to get into a conversation with a stranger.
Yeah.
And this is it. Our name's Ryan. Your name's Ryan. Let's go.
So, Ryan, you attended an event called the Ryan Rave where you said everyone was chanting Ryan for hours and hours.
Yeah.
How did you feel coming out of that?
It definitely felt like
being in there.
The word Ryan has lost all meaning to me. It was used in adjectives, verbs.
Is that sorry to interrupt you.
No.
Is that something that you discussed or they got into, like the etymology of Ryan or the meaning of the name Ryan?
It means pig fucker in Ireland, right? Ireland.
In Swahili.
There was, I want to say that there was kind of a like, some people were talking about the history of the name, which I think it came from Ireland, right? Like, was the surname in Ireland.
Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. And,
I'd be Ryan if I told you I could eat another potato. I'm so tired of them.
Ryan, quit fucking the pig.
One thing that was interesting.
It was an exclamation that someone would say,
Ryan.
Ryan, he'd be fucking the pig again. Leave that hog alone. Oh, be Ryan.
I will not take this Ryan slander. But it was interesting.
Ryan Joseph Murphy, Jesus Murphy, Ryan. You be fucking that pig. That pig ain't got no more lubricant left in it, Ryan.
At least.
I'm sorry. I just want to do the accent. I apologize.
But it was interesting how many people like were basically my age, like you could tell that this was like a famous or a popular name in the 80s. 90s.
There was a window.
There was a window where it was like, oh, this is because I met this one guy. He was like, yeah, I'm a 49-year-old Ryan. I think I'm the oldest Ryan that I've seen here because he's like, I was named Ryan. My mom named me Ryan when it was not that popular of a name. And that was interesting. I kind of looked around. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're 49 and you seem to be the oldest Ryan here. Most people are my age.
I was really hoping that there would be like an elder Ryan. But I guess it was just some middle-aged guy.
I feel like we have the generation of actors now that are in our age group, like the Ryan Gosling, the
Ryan
Reynolds. The only older like actor I can think of off the top of my head is Ryan O'Neal.
Okay, I'm glad you brought him up because I'm sitting there. In the last 5 years, okay, I like randomly asked my mom, I'm like, Mom, how did you and Dad decide to call me Ryan? You know, and they're like, well, we were.
You were looking at such pig. And we said, oh, no. He's got the gleam in his eyes.
Wait. Fat Elise.
Sorry.
But she was like, yeah, you know, we were going through baby names and your dad brought that one up. And I had always liked the actor Ryan O'Neal. And so then I was like, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm named after Ryan O'Neal, basically. I love Ryan O'Neal. Paper Moon is like one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Barry Lyndon is great. Love Story's good. What's Up, Doc? He's great. But it was just interesting to me that I'm like 30 years into this thing being called Ryan, and I didn't know that I was named after Ryan O'Neal.
Yeah. I can't think of any other older.
Yeah.
No.
Paul Ryan.
Are you sure that's
a surname though?
The inspiration.
Well, cool. So we've covered young Ryans, old Ryans. Actually, let's circle back. All the DJs were Ryan.
Yep.
What about the bartenders?
What about the bouncers?
So, okay, the bouncer, I that's the first person you meet when you're there and stuff. And I'm like, oh, you must be named Ryan. And he's like, actually, I'm not. And everyone
shit.
in the line is
What?
like, what in the fuck are you
That
doing
must have been
here?
a terrible night for that man.
Did you guys jump that guy?
Yeah, we beat the shit out of him. Left him in an alleyway. Probably
Teach
bleeding
you
out
not
there.
to be named Ryan.
I'll fuck you like a pig.
And then you all went, oi, oi, oi.
Yeah, no. So the bouncer's name was Ryan, and I'm like, man, the immersion is completely shot now. You know,
yeah.
Like, what the hell? But you know, he made some funny joke about it, but then
You're
everyone
like, okay,
else I
you're
met
cool.
for the and then you'd hear people chant like in the party that were already in there chanting Ryan. You know, we're like, all right, well, I'm gonna go with my people now. I can't be out here with this.
Have
bouncer.
fun out here.
Yeah, Scott. Whatever the fuck your name is.
Asshole.
Fucking idiot.
How
coming near the
fucking
Ryan
dare
name.
you.
Yeah.
Show your face.
That guy, that guy was not named Ryan. And there were some food trucks there. Their names were not Ryan, unfortunately. Most of the bartenders were named Ryan, although I did meet one that was not. That was like a girlfriend of a Ryan, which it's okay, you know. I mean, so
yeah, we've talked a little bit about how there's this specific window of time of people to be named Ryan.
yeah.
We're not seeing the John rave. We're not seeing the Mike rave. What do you think it is about? Is it that made this like the recipe for this to happen?
My theory is that this is just the beginning. Okay, is that we talked multiple times throughout the Ryan rave where everyone just looking around saying, "Man, this is fucking awesome. Why doesn't every name do this?" And then we all like, every name is going to do this at some point.
You're
Like,
trying to franchise.
we're trying to franchise every single
I don't think
name.
so.
I believe there is no reason for there not to be a John rave. Maybe there'd be 10 people at your rave.
Elise rave.
Yeah. So-
Maybe go to France. There'll be more. I think there's something special. I think there's something special about the recipe of the Ryan. Like we're talking
Alliteration.
about. Well, it's just that it's like a unique. It's a no longer maybe the most common name.
It's
saying
not really
maybe.
that common. Like even when it was
But it was popular. For a time.
I was reading somewhere like it was in the top 10 or something, and I think in Scotland for like 10 years it was super, like it was the number one name.
Yeah.
But why? Because there's pigs there.
And
that they can fuck?
I just think
Why
that,
does your brain immediately go to pigs?
well, for some reason, like you can see graphs of like places in the world where there is a high pig population, and then you can correlate that to like the people named Ryan, and it's just like this is just data. It's just data I'm seeing online.
No.
This is data. I don't know.
There's
It's
a lot of
just
pigs in
data I'm
Mississippi,
seeing.
and I don't think there's
It's
that
just
popular
data.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ryan. He started it.
Ryan, do you have any?
Sorry.
Ryan, what was like the craziest moment that you experienced at the Ryan rave?
Craziest.
Release the
Release the hogs. Yeah, when they all release the hogs. we're all-
Sorry, I'm sorry.
It's when they greased all of us Ryans up and then they release our hogs, and for the rest of the night it was just an oinking orgy.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Craziest moment, Well, okay, they got they had a really cool like at some point every Ryan was in where the DJs were because there was like multiple little sections of this place, and they were kind of given a big ceremony and stuff, and then they had a thing where like, all right, now we're gonna see who the Ryan that traveled the farthest, right? So they had an entire award ceremony for Ryans who traveled the farthest, and then the one who won is Ryan from the Philippines is there, and so Filipino Ryan won, and then everyone was just like, yeah, and then we all just chanted Ryan, and then it was a birthday Ryan. We all sang happy birthday to this guy. Everyone got a piece of his. I want to say there was at least two, but definitely one specific one that had like a cake and everything that we gave him.
Was there like oldest Ryan, youngest Ryan?
That they didn't give awards to.
Blackest Ryan.
No, but and then so just that whole ceremony was just really fun when they were handing out all the awards and then everyone was dancing.
Like what were do you remember the other awards or were you too?
Well, it was.
They're all pig related. He doesn't want to.
Yeah, were they putting blue ribbons on like from state fairs?
It was funny because they were like, everyone knows that Ryans love Mario Kart. So there was a Mario Kart screen.
Did anyone refute that? Was everyone like, yeah, we do?
Yeah, I was like, man, I'm great at Mario Kart.
Okay. I object to that because I think Mario Kart universally loved. I think that could have applied.
Yeah, I don't think Ryans can claim that like they do with other things.
If anyone remembers though the My Favorite Games episode on Funhouse of Mario Kart, I'm pretty sure his name was Ryan, and it was.
But it was Dan's favorite game. It wasn't even your favorite game.
Well, yeah, but I was just part of the game. I won though. That's all that matters.
Everyone in that episode enjoyed Mario Kart.
Yeah, but I won though. We're good at Mario Kart. We don't just like it. We're proficient.
And it was Mario Kart 64, which would have been from the time period that Ryan, the name, was at its most popular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the 64 one was the one we were playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it all makes sense.
But do you remember the other awards?
Not really. Unfortunately.
Tallest Ryan, maybe shortest Ryan.
I don't think they didn't. I wish they had more awards, more superlatives.
Yeah, that'd be so fun.
But I mean, the ones we saw were good. And
well, that leads me to a question that I had. What was the biggest Ryan you saw?
There was a tall Ryan he was one of the guys who went the farthest. I don't remember exactly where he was, but he was very tall. So I guess
maybe
Ryan.
he was like Scandinavian or something. Be that tall?
Maybe.
How tall do you think the tallest Ryan at the Ryan Rave was?
I want to say that guy was probably 6'6", 6'7".
Wow.
Whoa, shit.
Like
what about widest Ryan?
There were several widest Ryans. I couldn't really quantify that as much.
What about smallest Ryan?
Probably that, like the little kids. I probably saw like a 7-year-old Ryan come with his mom and dad.
So no, like little, like fully grown little people.
I didn't see a little person Ryan.
Interesting.
What advice would you give to? I mean, you probably didn't talk to them much there because the kids sound like they were all scared. But if you could go back to the Ryan Rave and give one piece of advice to the little Ryans at the Ryan Rave, what would that advice be?
Ryan, stick together. If you ever see another Ryan, just kind of do the handshake.
Ryan together strong.
Yeah, Ryan together strong. Right.
What's the handshake?
Yeah, John just did it. I don't know how he knew that, but that's what we do.
Did you have that T-shirt before? Did you get it?
Or absolutely not. No, this is merged from the Ryan Rave. My I Love Ryan T-shirt.
How long ago was the Ryan Rave?
September 2nd. Why?
Elise?
John?
There are 3 unique stains. Distinct 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you need to get? Have you watched that yet? No, okay, never mind. Okay.
How many times have you worn it? No.
The next time you wash it, take dish soap, like Palm dish soap or whatever, and put it on those stains, like just a big glob of it, and try to rub them in, and that will prevent. And then that way, when you wash it, they won't like set into
this
the shirt.
This happens to every white shirt I have.
Dish soap. Because as somebody who is a messy eater and I get like grease stains all over myself, dish soap before you put something in the washing machine is the key to not getting those like grease stains that set in the dryer.
God,
how do you get the stains off the wall?
Yours is coming. Okay, you call him a pig fucker. You're saying I have explosive wall diarrhea, and you're coming up, John. I'm gonna figure it out.
There's a lot. You got a lot of ammo you can go through.
They had a whole array of funny merch, though. They had I Heart Ryan, which, to me was the most generic one. Then they had one that just said "fuck Brian." A little more vulgar shirt. But then they had one that I really liked that just said, like, on September 2nd, 2023, I went to a rave full of people named Ryan, or something like that. It was just like a sentence that explained where you were at.
Who's profiting from this merch?
Ryan, I'm guessing.
I mean, and you didn't buy a ticket.
Make a Ryan. It's the Make-A-Wish Foundation for Ryans.
No, I'm just curious because I imagine that the people throwing the event, they're just rolling that into renting the space, right?
I don't know, but there's a guy named Ryan the Leader. Okay. He's the leader of us.
Cult.
Yeah.
He's the leader of us, Ryans. And he was the one I think he just attended the meetup that they had and was like, this rocks. I want to help you guys throw a rave. And he's the one that made the video that went viral.
Was he wearing long robes and kind of marching around?
He was wearing this exact t-shirt.
Okay.
And then
it's less cultish.
Yeah. So then but he's the one that I think has kind of taken the lead on this.
I'm surprised you're not their spokesperson. I feel like one of them identified this guy's got a following, and then they made you their spokesperson.
I did go up to Ryan the Leader. I'm like, hey, because I wore my Ryan's game show T-shirt.
Okay.
And so then I was like, you should come on my game show. Even though I don't even have that garage anymore where I filmed it. But he's like, oh yeah, let me know. So I have his contact. We're friends now. Best friends, I'd say.
Any couples there that were both Ryan?
That's a great question. I
didn't. You could have known, because that would be to me that would be the fucking most baller thing. You come with your girlfriend or boyfriend named Ryan.
The thing closest to that was that there was two girls that were best friends, both named Ryan, which was pretty interesting. Cute. Yeah,
lesbians.
Well,
no,
you said earlier that you don't know anybody in LA named Ryan.
Right, correct.
So
now you do.
Now you know 100 fucking Ryans.
Yeah, exactly.
So two-parter question here. First part, are you going to stay in touch? Did you make any connections there? You exchanged information. You're building bonds. You're going to stay in touch with any of these Ryans.
Addition to that, how did you differentiate them in your contacts?
We're going to find out the answer to these questions right after a word from our sponsors. Back to the show. So before the break, we had asked you, Ryan, are you going to stay in touch with any of the Ryans that you met at the Ryan rave? What's the longevity of? Is this a one night stand?
Look, I had a
one night stand.
I had a lot of fun on my one night stand with meeting these different Ryans. I would say that the Ryans I probably will talk to at some point. Me and Ryan O'Flanagan, we follow each other on Instagram now. I think that could totally be in our future. Mm-hmm. We collab. Me and Ryan, the leader from the Ryan Rave leader guy.
Gotta come up with a different name because it sounds very cultish, but okay.
It's okay. But, I got his info and, I would do something. I could see doing something with him. We got the guy who, Ryan, who theoretically could intern here.
The 9-year-old?
He was in college.
Oh, okay.
Or he was about to go to college, I think. He was 18, 17 maybe, something like that. And then there was there was two Ryan Funhouse fans that posted on the Reddit and stuff.
Oh yeah,
about
I did
it,
see that. Okay.
So I mean, we're bonded for life just through that.
Yeah.
The second part to that question.
Yes.
Yeah, as you said, you didn't know many Ryans. Do you think that it's going to be a weird thing for you, if you do have a Ryan in your life, where you eventually start to feel well, I've felt unique in being the sole Ryan here, but now we got another Ryan.
Well, that happens, I mean, you, John, I'm sure have been in classes where it's oh, I'm John S.
No.
I'm John. I don't get
No.
Elise's.
You don't have.
I've never met I don't know any other Johns.
Okay, well that's insane, but you know what I mean.
Elise's.
That person will just have to be called something else, a new nickname.
They'll have to retire Ryan.
I mean, yeah, at least when they're around me.
You wouldn't take the nickname.
Please, I'm Ryan.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I had a few more questions
Ryan.
pertaining to the attendees of the Ryan Rave.
Okay.
Diversity. Sorry. Let's take our phones off the table. They don't vibrate the mic arms.
Yes, diversity.
What
How white was it?
Yeah, how white was it?
Not as white as you would have thought.
Oh, okay, cool.
Actually. That was another thing everyone was talking about. Like, wow, this is great. We're seeing Ryan, all kinds of Ryans, black Ryans,
there's a guy
Asian
from the
Ryans, white
We
Philippines.
Ryans.
know there was
Yeah.
a Filipino
Filipino
Ryan.
Ryan.
Was there a black? Were there black Ryans?
Tons of black Ryans.
Tons of
Yes.
black Ryans. Asian Ryans.
Yes, Asian Ryans. Yeah. This
albino Ryan.
one Asian Ryan. He had the funniest line in that first meetup because they're interviewing all the Ryans, and this one guy, this one Asian Ryan goes, "Yeah, I just love the name. I love the culture." That's like the funniest part. I love the name. I love the culture, and I think one of them has a podcast that's pretty popular. Like there was like 1 million followers on this one Ryan's podcast.
Oh, why didn't you say that when I asked if there was a famous person there?
Oh, I forgot about that guy's podcast. I forget his name though, but people were talking about him in the.
Oh, we need to find this Ryan.
Well, I know. I'll be able to find it quickly. What's your other?
It's called Pigcast.
It's called the Swine Show.
I was just gonna keep naming different types of people. Albino Ryan,
an albino Ryan. I don't remember seeing an albino Ryan.
a Ryan with alopecia.
Any mutes?
Not that I knew about. No.
I have a question unrelated to the. If you're done. With
I was just gonna keep naming different types of people.
Qualifiers.
Yeah.
If you must.
Ryan Bergera.
No.
Ryan Bergera from the Watcher podcast.
It's okay. I don't know who that is,
I don't
but
know.
maybe we'll have to look into.
They're a part of the Roost, at least.
Are they?
No.
There is a possibility too that there was maybe a ghost Ryan there. Like we don't know. I mean, I am a non-believer
You can't
traditionally,
not prove
but
that. Yeah.
There could have been
that
a
is a really good
spirit
point.
there.
You can't not prove that.
but there also could have been the ghosts of Bryans there.
I don't like to think about that. Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
So have you gotten any information about what the future of the Ryan Rave looks like? Like, is there plans to keep doing these in other cities?
I'm pretty sure that the stated next plan is to go even further than the Ryan Rave, which of course is having a Ryan convention.
Ryan Man.
Ryan Man or Rycon or something like that. Yeah. I think that's their next thing is to have a whole entire convention with parties and convention stuff and whatever.
Cosplay.
So could sponsors buy
Panels.
space there that are not named Ryan? Like could somebody have a booth there, but they're not Ryan, but they want to sell stuff to Ryans? Like could like Pabst Blue Ribbon, knowing that this is their demographic, have a
I don't know the answer to that, but I don't know why not.
Are you going to get involved in a higher way with the organization? Like, are you going to?
That's why I have Ryan the leader's contact. If the next thing I know about the convention, I will hit them.
You're
up
waiting to
and
be
say,
activated.
Yeah,
you could be the MC.
Well,
you MC stuff.
Yeah, you're great.
I mean,
you have a great stage presence.
You'd be phenomenal. Like they would be so fucking lucky to have you do this for them.
Your segment in the Funhouse panel from RTX,
Yes.
which is a members video.
It was great.
That was my favorite part.
Yes, me too. Absolutely.
Thank you.
You could repurpose that for the Ryan Rave.
Definitely.
Like you could ask people, "What's your name?"
Yeah, unbelievable.
How far is too far for the Ryan Rave? Right?
What does that question mean?
Marianas Trench, the outer reaches of space. How far are we willing to go for these men named Ryan?
What was the strangest Ryan?
Probably that Ryan I was telling you about that went from Weezer that hadn't slept for a whole day.
There weren't any like weirdly dressed Ryans or like.
People had some really funny T-shirts on. I actually, and I have pictures of it, which we will be showing to the members. Is that the deal?
Yeah. Oh yeah. For members, we're gonna watch through all this footage and pictures and stuff and post that as a separate video.
And when we say members, we're talking about joining the Funhouse. Not this channel that this podcast is on, the Funhouse 2 YouTube channel.
Right. Oh, right.
But we're talking about youtube.com/funhouse where you can join the Dog Pound and become a Funhouse Plus member.
Yeah.
Or a Receipt First member.
Yeah, or a bundle with both.
Anyways, what was I saying?
Some people came with their Ryan Costco memberships. That was kind of funny. Somebody had a T-shirt where they got every single Ryan to sign it. So, nice. I'm on there. There was one Ryan who had run for like his city council or something. So he brought his entire like campaign stuff. That was kind of cool. I interviewed that Ryan, and that was cool. Another Ryan had a shirt. There's one Ryan shirt that said There are many copies, but I am the one true Ryan.
And you beat the shit out of him.
You're
like, I'm Ryan. Everyone else will have a nickname
for the book with the security guy.
Any missing limbs?
Any amputee?
Any Ryan? Yeah, amputee Ryans.
No amputee Ryans that I saw. Yeah.
Discrimination.
I don't know.
Not cool.
They were invited.
Were they?
Do you think that this could ever get big enough that there's going to be like a Ryan Gosling, a Ryan?
Well, that
Reynolds.
was certainly, people joked about that all night. Like, oh, I wonder if it's got big enough. If now Ryan Reynolds just shows up at 1 a.m. or something. That didn't happen.
I think
they
at
don't
the
got
next
time for
one,
that.
what you should do is you should all abduct a famous Ryan.
Pull the hood off him.
Look, yeah, he's surrounded. Who are all these people?
The leader's nodding.
Yeah.
Throws his cape over his shoulder.
Like
I'm
that-
assuming he has a cape.
Like abduct that the Ryan Toy Reviews kid. We can finally
Well, no one's getting abducted. No one's abducted.
guys
We
brought
never
this
not
up.
encouraged. John did.
You're the
I
one who
just asked
started
to get out
rubbing
there
your
with him.
chin like a fucking evil villain.
Like you saw a hog 30 yards away and
smelling
I get to
downwind.
thinking. So after 9:30, you said, or 9 p.m.?
9:30. That's when
you could bring your hog wife in.
No, I could have brought her in before
This
because
is
her name's Ryan.
Lurleen.
Her name's Ryan, so she could have gotten in for free.
Would you say that there is an essence to Orion? Like knowing who
essence
you
to
are, like
Orion.
that there are some things where you're like, okay, anybody who's Orion, they're going to have this thing about them. Maybe it's just a feeling or an allure. Maybe it's a trait. Maybe it's a
A
characteristic.
smell.
Well, the real
Maneuvering.
I mean, in addition to all of us having the same name, the Brian thing is a real thing. I mean, every Ryan totally related to that.
What's the Brian thing?
Like,
You have an enemy named Brian?
well, in the video, in the first meetup video, they're all like, and we all commiserated about the one thing that we hate to hear when we're introducing ourselves, and then it's just like they're like, oh hi,
Hi, I'm Elise.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
To Brian?
No, it's Ryan. The fuck?
He's really squeezing my hand pretty hard there. We were pantomiming a handshake, and he kind of like leaned into it, audio listeners.
It's
and he, like,
sensitive.
I'm sensitive about being called Brian, and so
Do it with
Ryan,
John. Do it with John, so he can,
every
so he
Ryan
can see.
can relate to that.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
Hi, I'm John.
Okay.
What are we- what?
Wow.
Never
Thank
mind.
you. That was a good.
Thank you, Brian.
No, what?
It's not an improv channel. Okay.
You're twisting the wrong knob on his. For the audio listeners, Ryan fucked up his. You twisted the other one. There are 3, and you've twisted 2 of the wrong ones. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Shit, I had a really good one in the chamber.
Was this something to do with the essence of the Ryan, or like about what I just asked?
Oh,
about them?
no. But this has to do with the previous question, because it's maybe you've forgotten. I asked you how you felt leaving, and your response was that just the name Ryan has lost all meaning. But when I spoke with you the night of the rave, the Ryan rave,
Yeah.
you sounded euphoric, possibly like dangerously feeling invincible, manic, I'd say maybe. Have those feelings faded?
I had the best time ever. I definitely left high on Ryan's. At the end of the Ryan rave, I had a great time, and I mean, I like I said, I was there from the beginning, so I loved how I got to see it gradually, get fuller and fuller of Ryan's. Also, there was a line of Ryan's around the fucking block by like 9, so I'm so glad I got there early. Like I would have been waiting in this fucking line forever. So it was good.
Can you believe this, Ryan? Oh, I can't believe this, Ryan. We've been waiting this line forever, Ryan. Oh, yeah, I know, Ryan.
and then, definitely by 1, it was dwindling. Like people, the dance floor looked a little sad, and I'm like, all right, it's probably time to leave. So
Turning into
then I
pumpkins.
leave. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Very cool.
But I had a great time.
So the next one, is there one scheduled in another city soon, or
Not that I don't think so.
would you fly out somewhere to
I
go
don't
to a
know
Ryan
about
rave?
that.
I mean, you fly everywhere for Ween.
Yeah, well, that's Ween. Ween's the best band in the world.
Ween's better than
These are
Ryan.
just a bunch of people named Ryan having a party.
What if we told you it was at a farm?
Well, then you have my attention. But I will definitely be going to that convention. That was a fun time.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm.
Well, cool.
Assuming it's in LA.
They don't know when the next one will be in LA.
They don't. Huh. I'm trying to think if there's any other notable things that happened at this. The drinks were all named after Ryan's.
Oh, what?
The Reynolds and stuff.
Cool.
And,
Oh, yes.
Yes, of course.
That was kind of cool. Oh, there was a ability for you to change your name to Ryan if you were there legally. They had legal documents.
They had like a notary present or whatever.
Yeah. So if
Like at the door so that you could get in?
Oh, did they just have the paperwork, but then you had to go file it? Is that what it was?
I don't know. They had all the paperwork. They basically were like, if you want to change your name to Ryan while you're here, if your name is not Ryan, either to get in, or just you've been partying all night and you want to become a Ryan.
You want to make a mistake.
You want to be
Here's the paperwork.
And they had one guy legally change his name to Ryan.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
He really didn't want to pay that cover.
Yeah.
$20 cover. You're a real special person, Ryan.
No, Elise, you're a real special person.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Elise. Come on. You exude life and you take every opportunity and you always say yes. And I think it's so fitting. Like, I'm so glad that of any name that could possibly have an event like this, I'm so glad it is for Ryan because I think you deserve it.
Oh, thank you, Elise. I can't wait to come to the Elise rave, hopefully.
It's just me in this room. It's Mike. Remember the episode of The Office where Michael Scott's like at the conference and he's in the room in the dark and there's just
shining the light.
The light. Yeah, that's me at the Elise rave.
Well, really, what would because there's got to be alliteration for this thing, so what would the second word or like the John
Jam.
The John Jamboree.
John Jam.
Yeah, the John Jamboree. Elise, there's really no good
Yeah, the Elysium. We would just call it Elysium. Yeah, we just have one.
Well, see, Ryan,
Only the richest
I
Elises.
feel like both Elise and I have the issue where there's different spellings
Yeah.
of the name.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm Jon because
Yeah.
it's short for Jonathan.
Uh-huh.
So I'd probably be excluded or
No, you'd be allowed in the John Jamboree.
I
for
think
sure.
I'd be discriminated against.
Maybe you might have a little corner that's
Yeah, we'd have a little area
Yeah.
that the Jonathans would be restricted to.
Uh-huh.
Isn't John from Garfield? Is he Jon?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Is he?
Yeah.
The one true John.
John, what's his last name?
He's your leader.
Garfield.
No, what's John's
Arbuckle.
last name? Arbuckle.
Garfield.
Thank you, Elise.
I love Garfield.
It's John Garfield. Both of you are wrong.
Well,
All right, well, we had
any final
informative.
thoughts
Yeah.
on the Ryan rave?
No, if the Ryan Rave is in your town, please go to it. But also, if you're out there and you're like, you know what, I'm a shy person, and my name is blank, then go start the blank rave,
Or maybe a meetup. Maybe not a rave.
meetup.
Just a
Yeah,
meetup.
start with the meetup, see the interest at first, have fun, meet all the fellow people with your name, and then start your own rave or whatever. And because I think it's a great idea, and the Ryans should franchise it, and the Ryans get to keep all the money. Though.
That German cannibal that ate that guy, he just found him through a one ad.
Right? Yeah.
So
Exactly.
anybody can do it.
And similarly, actually, I actually got served an ad this morning for a cloud or ghost kitchen service. Is that what they call them? Ghost kitchens?
Yeah.
So literally a company that specializes in you can just rent a space and create a restaurant, a ghost kitchen. So I feel like maybe we should start the Name Rave Association, where we will put
It's a
on
franchise. Oh,
your name rave.
Okay.
yeah.
I'm into that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Talk to the leader.
Yeah, hit up the leader and say you should do this.
They have recruited 2 more, and they're going to recruit 2 more, and those people.
And everyone has a name. That's what's so genius about it.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope this was informative. If you want to see all the footage and stuff from the show, that will be on Funhouse channel for members or Funhouse First. And that was quite the story.
And you'll
right?
probably put up you're probably going to put some stuff on your own channel, like for this.
Yeah,
right?
well, I have
Yeah.
like a backlog of years of stupid things I've done that haven't been edited. So at some point in my life, this will be edited into a video. I can't promise if it's the next month, the next 5 years.
Maybe to promote the 2024 Ryan. Right?
Probably.
Oh, yeah, they'll probably
that
ask
might
you.
be something that
Get
will
them to pay you to do
incentivize
that.
me. And if your name is Ryan, please let me know down in the comments. Tell me, I don't know, about yourself, your life, your name, age, location, what you got
Security,
going on.
Social Security.
Yeah, Social Security, everything.
Favorite sub breed of pig.
Yes. I do want to know
Did we
that.
end there? I'm sorry, Ryan.
Goodbye.
Bye. John started it. He started it.